All right, into the Abyssal Fall. What's up, everyone? We are here doing another Metal Asylum live stream. I'm Jack Mangan. I'm actually rocking not an Iron Maiden shirt today, one of the Iron Maidens. Saw him last Saturday. We'll be talking about that because the topic is we'll get to that. Below me, not in life, but below me on the screen is my buddy from New Jersey, Rich Catino. Rich Catino, tell fine folks about yourself.
What's up, everybody? Again, Rich from Metal Asylum, and I write for Brave Words, and I write for the Metal Hall of Fame, and sometimes Sea of Tranquility too. I contribute, and today we are doing another Iron Maiden topic because we did do two of them before. Remember, Jack? We did the albums from the '80s, and then we did the '90s up to the present, right?
Right. It was pretty recent. Yeah.
So this could be like our part three. So we brought in an old friend of mine, and Jack, you just met her today. She's from Jersey, but she's now in Florida. Our friend Erika. What's up, Erika? Welcome on the show. First time,
Thanks.
and hopefully we'll have you back again.
Yeah, thanks for finally having me.
Because you are a longtime loving Iron Maiden fan like we are.
Yes, I am. Am I allowed to introduce myself?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm just Erika, and I love heavy metal, and I don't do anything as fun as Rich or anything. I'm a recruiter for my company. I find people to work for my company. I work in HR, so I'm not good. I'm going to be good today with my stories. No.
But you're
forget
a
it.
long-time metal fan like I am.
Yep.
From Jersey. Jack was from Jersey too, so we all were going to all the same clubs and everything, seeing all the same shows in the 80s and the 90s, right?
Well, we are part of the Metal Super Friends of New Jersey. Remember that?
Yes. Oh my God. I forgot who was in it, but I remember the name.
So, a lot of people ask me, being like how I got into Iron Maiden. So when I was a kid, I had one of my friends, Laura, she had an older brother, and we'd sneak in the basement. I was like 10 years old, and we'd watch, we'd look through his albums, AC/DC and the Killers album, like the Eddie just stood out to me. I didn't really know the words back then or whatever. So like ever since I've been 10 years old, I've loved Iron Maiden, but I love all things Killers. I got my Killers shirt, my Killers mug, my Killers Vans, you name it. And then,
I think that album is in my top 5 still. I think it always is. I think.
Yeah. I think that's my
Of
top.
all time?
I don't know.
Or just me?
It's tough because, for Iron Maiden albums, I think that my top 5 always shuffles because I love 5 albums so much that it's hard to choose, where everybody ranks.
That's consistently in my top 5, sometimes my top 2. Really, I just love it. I love the Paul Di'Anno era. So yeah. I will just say, Erika, we must have met. We lived like one town apart. And we have a bunch of friends in common. I'm sure we were at the same party or same. I'm sure we've met.
Studio. Did you go to like Studio One, the cricket club?
Studio One.
So
Studio One.
I don't like to give my age away, but I always joke around. Like, do you remember the cricket club in
Irvington?
Not cricket club. The Mingles Down Under Club in South Amboy, and it burnt down in like 1987 or 88. Like, I'm so old. I saw Kix on the Midnight Dynamite tour there.
Nice.
So I was like 14 years old. Like going to metal clubs at Braces. Have my dad drop me off in the back. Like,
that's awesome.
Drop me off in the back, Dad, because people really thought I drove with braces.
That's awesome. I wish I saw them at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my first, I was a little late to the party with Maiden concerts because, I think it was like 8th grade was when the Somewhere in Time tour came out, and I begged my mother, my neighbors were going, I begged her to go, and she's like, no, it's a rough crowd. I'm like, 12, 13 years old, wanting to go to an Iron Maiden concert. And I don't remember if you guys remember, but the next morning, my mom brings the newspaper, and that was when it was Brendan Byrne, and they flipped all the cars and they burned them the Somewhere in Time. Like, this is why I didn't let you go. So then there was Seventh Son. I think my dad wouldn't let me go. And then, I don't know if I should admit this or not. I'll probably get my ass chewed by the Maiden fans, but the Blaze era was okay. So I finally saw them in 2002 with Brave New World. That was my first time ever seeing Maiden.
Oh, okay. I saw them.
Yeah.
Seventh Son, I think. Yeah, Seventh Son was my first tour.
It's actually No Prayer for me. That was the first. And
I
will say, as much as I love the song Tail Gunner, I was so stoked to hear Aces High, and that was probably the first tour in a long time that they didn't play Aces High.
Yeah.
So that's I remember that being a little disappointing, but again, Tail Gunner is a great song. But yeah, why don't we? why don't we get started? Why don't we talk a little bit about our dream set lists? I mean, yeah, I mean we're all dyed in the wool Iron Maiden fans and freaks and experts. We should really actually, you know what? I'm sorry, I do have to give one more shout out. I already gave a little bit of a shout out, but I just saw the Iron Maidens this past weekend. Absolutely phenomenal, and they did it right. They played fantastic deep cuts as well as they played Wasted Years, the ones you expect to hear, but they also played some great deep cuts. I'll mention them throughout as we go. But I don't know, you guys ready to start the
Yeah.
discussion in earnest?
I'm ready to roll.
Maybe one or two of those songs are in one of our dream set lists. Maybe.
Well, I know they are in mine. So
Yeah,
I'm sharing this. I'm sharing this thing around a little bit more, and then. But yeah, why don't you? I mean, Erika, you're our guest. Why don't you tell us a little bit about maybe what would be like the first three or four on your Iron Maiden dream set list?
Now, before she tells us, hold on, sorry, Erika. Are we going in order like this is how we're seeing it in the show, or these are just the songs that we'd like to see in the set list?
Oh, I put mine in order, but that's because I always overdo it.
That's what I did too. What about you, Erika?
Oh, I failed the assignment already. I went by album.
That's all right. That's great. I
like to be different. I don't like to be like everybody else. So I just went through. All right.
That's cool. Go ahead.
Yeah.
All right.
Good.
So I'm going first.
Yeah. Just give us a couple.
All right. So not necessarily in this order, but I'll give you a couple. So I went by album. So definitely Prowler. So like you, Jack, I love Maiden. I love the Di'Anno era. And I also love Bruce because I feel like they're kind of two different Maidens. You got more crunchy, punky, and then more like, you could pass a history test with, the Bruce stuff, right? So I have Prowler. That's one of my favorites. I definitely know Running Free is kind of like, that's kind of like a basic Iron Maiden song at every show. However, a fun fact, I actually Bronco from one of the Iron Maiden tribute bands, he actually let me go up at Starland Ballroom and sing Running Free. So that's a song, and I can't sing, but that's a song that's near and dear to my heart. So those are the first off the first album. And then if it were up to me, I would have them play the whole Killers album, but I know that they can't do that. So it was hard to choose. Like I probably mixed my list up like 3 times today, but definitely Killers, because I think that's one of my all-time favorite Maiden songs. You guys like Killers?
Love it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I actually saw them.
It is? All right.
I saw them do that on, if you guys saw the tour, it was one of those greatest hits that they put out when Bruce and Adrian first came back. They played New York City. I want to say, can't think of the name of the theater. It was a theater.
Was it Hammerstein? They did like 2 nights.
Maybe it was Hammerstein. It was that or the Beacon, I want to say maybe.
Were they like the unannounced? Because I think I went like 2002 or 3. They played Hammerstein like 2 nights in a row.
And they did the songs from that greatest hits. It was part of a video game that they put out at the time. I forgot what it was called. And Stranger in a Strange Land was on it, and Killers was on it, and they played those in the show.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't remember that set list. I should have Googled it. I lied to my boyfriend that I was going there. I was like, no, I'm not going. And I was there.
I wish I knew the name of the best stuff, but it was to celebrate, I guess, the return of those 2 guys, or maybe it was right before, and then the video game was coming out at the same time, but I forgot what it was called.
That's awesome.
Well,
yeah.
Craig comes through. Here we go. Craig comes through.
Ed Hunter, yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. So then I have Drifter.
Yes.
Then nice. I'm a big fan. It's another, so they play this at every show, but I love Wrathchild. And then I have Another Life.
Nice.
Oh, that's a deep cut. Yeah.
So those are my first 6. Do you want me to keep going, or do we want to trade off?
Let's
trade off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So real quick before we go on, Ed Hunter was in 1999. So it was for a PC game.
So it was Best of the Beast. Was that the best of, or was the compilation actually called Ed Hunter?
It was called Ed Hunter to go with the game, and there was 14 songs, and one of those songs, 2 of those songs. Wait, let me see. Disc 2, I'm sorry, 2 discs, and it was Stranger in a Strange Land and Killers were on it, and they played both of them when I saw them.
Oh, yeah, I've never heard Killers live.
Yeah.
Wow.
That'd be great.
You just did.
All right, who's up next? Jack, you want to go?
Sure. Yeah, I'll go. I'll nerd out a little bit. So basically, um, I don't know when the UFO song started as that tradition, but I'm a little sick of it. So I would drop that.
Okay.
It was fun, or maybe even just play like the first minute of it instead of the whole damn thing.
Mm.
That whole, so. But I love, I know that Rich and I might disagree, but I feel like Aces High, even though it's one they do it's become expected. It's just too perfect, if that's such a thing. The Churchill speech into Aces High,
Mm.
it's just the perfect Iron Maiden song. It's one of the first Iron Maiden songs I ever really loved, maybe the first I ever loved. So Aces High leading things off.
Jack, when they brought it back was when they did the Somewhere Back in Time tour and they revisited Power Slave. You remember that? You remember that,
Yes,
Erica?
Yes,
yeah.
that's on
And
my list too.
Ace High wasn't in the set list for a long time, and they brought it back, and it's kind of been there since that tour. I think. I don't think they've dropped it yet.
I mean, it's too much of an icon. Like I feel like that's one. I know that we like the hardcore fans complain a lot about some of the same old in their set list,
Mm.
but I don't care. That's one I refuse to let go of.
Okay.
But so I kind of thought about like what would be my perfect night of Maiden, like if they came to me and said set up our set list. So their second song then would be Killers. So right there with you, Erica, on that one. Um, then from Killers all the way up to Seven Son into Moonchild, because again, what a killer song! Just love the power of that one. It's such a kick in the head, maybe one of their heaviest songs. Just love it. And then I'll cut it off here, and then Phantom of the Opera. So those would be
Hmm.
the first four. It would be Aces High with the Churchill intro, Aces High, Killers, Moonchild, and Phantom of the Opera.
A good one on Phantom. I teetered on that one. So
Hmm.
I just want to tell a quick story about Phantom. I think it was when they did Ozfest in like 2005. I brought my nephew, just to see Maiden because I felt he had to go see them. And we're driving home, and he's, here he is, 10 years old, and he's like, he held his own. He knew the Trooper, everything else. We're driving. He little innocently, he looks at me. He's like, that Phantom of the Opera song, that's the longest song ever. But it was just so cute that he knew the song. That was a proud auntie moment. There's my
That's
sister
awesome.
laughing.
And I also, I mean, I had brought my daughter. It was a super proud dad moment. I brought my daughter to see the last time Maiden were through here. I brought her to see them at the arena. She loved it afterwards. She's like, I want to get a T-shirt. She just loved it. They didn't play Phantom though, but yeah, it was so great to share Maiden with my teenage daughter. It was just awesome. And
That is
she loves
awesome.
Maiden now. Sometimes we'll
Proud
drive
dad
in the
moment.
car. Yeah, like she'll put on her playlist and Maiden will come up. I'm like, all right, this is a good thing.
Cool.
Am I
But you
allowed
see,
to?
can you see you got a question from Craig Kaminsky? It says,
I
hey Erica,
did.
since this is a dream set list, would you want to see Paul come out and sing his songs with the band or have Bruce sing them instead?
100% Paul. Yeah, I mean, Bruce, is good and all, but I like you. I love the Deano era, so I would love to see Paul come out. I mean, 1982, Paul.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
He's touring right now. I will say that I would love for them to do the Halloween thing for a tour with Bruce and Paul
Right.
at the top of their powers, where they both of them tour. But anyway, what do you think, Rich?
Yeah, I would take that definitely. But there is some footage out there. Paul Diano just did a couple shows in Greece with Gus G playing guitar. Did you guys see that? And a couple other guys playing in the band, and they do songs from the first two Iron Maiden albums, and they did a great job.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, and so JR Murdoch, what's up, JR? He chimes in and says, "Would love for them to play Lost for Words live at some time. That would be fantastic." So they play some instrumentals. In fact, the Iron Maidens just played Genghis Khan, which was amazing. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
Lost for Words would be great. Yeah.
I think Lost for Words was last played for the Power Slave tour, probably because it's on. If you guys have the album version, when they had the singles come out, they have it on. I think it's the B side to Running Free or Phantom of the Opera. I think because it was a four LP version that had come out in the 80s.
Right. Right.
Yeah, so they did do that
Wow.
at some point.
All right. So,
Yeah.
Rich, I don't want.
All right.
I guess we got a blank comment.
Oh, that's
Go ahead.
Laura. She's ask a question, Laura. Go ahead.
All right, Rich. Let's hear yours.
All right. So I am probably going to be the most different out of everybody because I am that guy that is tired of hearing the same songs over and over again. Because I've seen them for every tour since Seventh Son, and I even saw the revisit tours for Power Slave, the Seventh Son one when they do the Ed Hunter one, like I was talking about. Only thing I missed was the Ozfest one because I thought they were going to be doing other regular dates, but they didn't do that. They just did the Ozfest. And that's when they played a lot from the first three albums, remember? Like a couple of other ones like Murders and Killers and I forgot what used to be in there. I think maybe Drifter or something like that, or maybe Innocent Exile was played. So kicking myself that I missed that. But maybe I'll get my dream set list one day. Probably not. Actually, no, there's a little hope. Maybe I'll get a couple because they are doing Somewhere Back in Time. I mean, Somewhere in Time now it's going to be called, right? With
Right.
Senjutsu. They're doing like a little bit of that and a little bit of the new stuff. So maybe they'll put a couple of these deep cuts in there, finally. Hoping.
Oh,
If not, I'm just going to pay him a couple million and get it
Let's
done.
see what you got, Catino.
All right. So I am also opening with Prowler.
Oh,
I am starting at the beginning as well.
okay.
Going into Sanctuary. Well, not going into, it's the next song, Sanctuary. And then followed by Remember Tomorrow. Because
Okay.
I love the vocals on that. I love how it's very, mellow and melodic, and then it gets heavy and screaming.
That was my toughest. It's not on my list, but Remember Tomorrow is such a great song that was a tough one to leave out. It's just I left it out because it's thinking of time. Yeah,
That's what I
song.
did too. It was going to be on my list, but I was like, do we want 7-minute songs? I was trying to get more for my buck,
I was thinking of that too. And Phantom of the Opera was right there too. But they played that on one of those revisit tours, the retro tours. I think it was the Somewhere Back in Time for Power Slave, if I'm correct.
I have heard Bruce do that. And by the way, the Iron Maidens did that too. It was great. It's too great to leave out.
So I bumped it for another song from the debut, but I did it as a medley. So I picked Charlotte the Harlot with Acacia Avenue.
Ooh, medley, good one.
They're tied, they're tied together. So, and they haven't played either one of those in decades. So that would be a very cool medley. Do Charlotte into Acacia Avenue.
What about Hooks and You, Rich? That's part 3.
No, that song's trash. So that's my first 4. If you want to consider, a medley's, 4, right? 2 songs together. I consider that a song. So that's my first 4.
All right. It's a good start. I'm enjoying both of your set lists. All right. Well, Erika, what's next?
All right.
Where do we leave off?
My next few are Gangland.
Yes.
Nice.
So I don't know about you guys, but I teeter like one, I don't listen to Maiden nearly as much as I used to, but like sometimes like Peace of Mind will be my favorite album, but for some reason, and I'm probably going to get a lot of shit for this, pardon my language, I know I'm supposed to keep it, probably Number the Beast is kind of like my least favorite Maiden album. I don't know why. Like that one I could kind of give or take, but definitely Flight of Icarus. And I know that's on a lot of set lists, but I have like a whole new respect for that song. So I don't know if you guys know this, but Nico owns a restaurant down here in Coral Springs, Rock and Roll Ribs. And yeah, it's like an Iron Maiden museum you can get Ace's High Fries, you can get ribs, Brave New World coleslaw, potato salad. Like it's like a little Iron Maiden museum and they sell ribs. So every year he has an anniversary party. So I've gone the past couple years and, this year, actually, the past 2 years, Ripper Owens, he's been a guest. And I don't know, somehow I became friends with Ripper. I don't know how, but he's my friend. But he got up and sang the shit out of Flight of Icarus. Like he just got up there and it's on my page somewhere and he killed it. Like I was like, wow. So I have like a whole new respect, for, not that I didn't like the song, but a whole new respect for that. So kudos to him. And To Tame a Land. I love that song too. That's on my list. And then kind of moving on to Power Slave, I picked Flash of the Blade. That's probably like my all-time favorite Maiden song. I had Ace's High on mine as well, and then Power Slave.
Very cool.
I know no deep cuts there, but this is my concert, okay?
Well, Flight of Icarus was back, right? It came back for the past 2 tours, actually.
And I would say Flash of the Blade is a great song. That is kind of a deep cut. And then Gangland, I mean, I love that song, but that is like one of the most hated Iron Maiden songs from the classic era. And I never understood it. I think it's on an album side with 3 other songs that are incredible. But I love Gangland. I think
Me too.
it's great.
I
So
told you, Jack, when we were talking about those 80s albums, that I gained a new appreciation for that song when Adrian Smith did the playthrough.
yeah.
And I
Right.
almost
Wait and see.
I teeter with, I don't know if it's on your list. I teeter with the Rime of the Ancient Mariner, but I don't know about you guys. We had to read that in like 11th grade. And I'm like, I don't need to read it in my literature class. I'm like, I know the song.
Right.
So yeah. So I remember the first question was, who does the Mariner tell his tale to? And I'm in the head. I'm like, he's riding. Oh, the one guest. See, didn't need to read it. I knew the song.
Yeah, Bruce is our history teacher.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that you set me up, Erica. So I'll go next. Okay, so Back in the Village would be my next one after Phantom of the Opera, where I left off.
Awesome.
Actually, I'm doing side 2. See, I'm showing my age. Album sides. Side 2 of Power Slave would be all in a row. Back in the Village, then Power Slave, and then Rime of the Ancient Mariner.
Awesome.
Yeah, I know Rime of the Ancient Mariner is 15 minutes out of the night. And with Bruce Dickinson's chatter that he does, it's more like 25 minutes because he chatters forever between songs. But man, I mean, I don't know if you ever saw it. I posted an article about Rime of the Ancient Mariner. I have a great memory of playing that song riding around when I was a kid with my dad playing it in his car. And he said kind of the same thing. He's like, I had to read this poem in high school, but he dug it. But even without the personal memory, it's just such a great song. That album is just too great for me.
Yeah.
No,
And then yeah. So, and then following, but I'm thinking after that 13 and a half or 14-minute epic, we'll have to go back and get into kind of a rocker. So I went back to Diano and got Wrathchild and Murders in the Rue Morgue, pardon me. Got Wrathchild and Murders in the Rue Morgue next after Rime the Ancient Mariner. So get back to some more kind of Diano era rockers after that. All right.
I
So
had Murders and I killed it.
yeah. It's too good, and I've never heard him do it live. It's too great. And of course, I know you're right. Wrathchild kind of gets played frequently, but again, the bass line is just one for the ages.
Yeah.
And then, all right, Rich, I guess, J.R. Murdoch jumps in with their version of Cross-Eyed Mary is really good. That is an excellent deep cut. Yeah, their cover of a Jethro Tull song. That's good. I wouldn't make my set list, but, respect to them.
That one came out during Peace of Mind, I think. I'm pretty sure I have that on a single. It was the B-side to Flight of Icarus or The Trooper. Little trivia there. All right.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
All right. Moving on to Killers. So I'm going with the title track, Murders, and then Purgatory. One right into the next. So 3 in a row. No stopping. Then I was going to pick another one from Killers too because I love that album so much. And they never play anything from it other than Wrathchild.
Right.
They always neglect it. So I stuck with 3 back to back. And then I'm going into one of your favorites, Jack. Invaders.
Oh.
Really?
Which is a great opener. Yes, Invaders is always in my dream set list. Never leaves.
I'll go get merch while they're playing that.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't like Invaders?
No, he considers it like a terrible song on a perfect album.
Why? Because
even over Gangland, right?
I love Gangland. Yeah, Invaders is, and actually Invaders is not terrible. It's just the chorus gets so goofy. I'm just like, what the hell happened here?
It sounds like someone squeezes Bruce's nuts real hard to hit that note. G-rated. Sorry.
No, he has a bunch of nut squeezing moments in his career, but yeah, that one, I don't know, that song just doesn't work for me. But anyway,
I forgot. What did you say is the awkward part for you? Is it the chorus? Is it the verse? What is it?
Yeah, it's the chorus. The verse is okay. The bridge is okay, but yeah, and the chorus is actually not. It's just Bruce does that kind of weird like Invaders, and then the bass
goes up and down real quick.
It's just like it's just weird. It's just awkward to me.
Right.
Rich likes it. People like it.
All right. So I'm going with a deep one here. It appears on Number of the Beast sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't. Total Eclipse. It's my next
Very
one.
Nice.
Which got like one of those, what do they call that? When they do the visualizer, I think it's called. When they do a video, but there's no lyrics or anything, and it's like part of it's like animated. I think that they call it a visualizer. They did that for Total Eclipse when they did some of the reissues recently.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I think it was actually for the I think it's triple vinyl. Yeah, triple vinyl of Number of the Beast with Beast over Hammersmith. You know, that just came out last year.
Yeah, which is amazing, by the way.
It is. I have that. So as part of that, that was one of the videos that they took from it because it's back on that version of the album.
That should have just been on the album. I don't know. I mean,
I don't understand why it's there. It's not there. It depends on what release you got, you know?
Right. It shouldn't replace anything. There should just be one more song on Number of the Beast.
Erica, do you like that one?
It's all right.
It's all right.
So I'm studying my set list here.
Okay. All right. And so what are we doing? 4 now? 4 or 5 we going to?
I'm way ahead. I only have like 4 songs left.
All right. I'll give you 2 more. I'll stop at Peace of Mind. So I'm going with Sun and Steel.
Ooh.
Love that
That's a good one.
Very catchy. And Die With Your Boots On.
Which, I mean, I the album version's okay. I love it on Live After Death.
Live After Death is excellent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Sun and Steel, again, it's another one. So Peace of Mind, yeah. I like Sun and Steel very much. It didn't make my list, but if they played it, I would not go get merch.
That's not a bio break song either.
No. All right.
Next.
Well, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Erica. You can give us your last 4, or give us 3 of the last 4, maybe hold out on the
3 because I'll save my encore for last. So moving on to Somewhere in Time. I don't know, there's definitely Sea of Madness. That's actually one of my favorite Maiden songs and my favorite song off Somewhere in Time. And then, you know, sometimes I like to think of like good sing-along songs. So I have Heaven Can Wait on my on my list because I think at the end when they're like, whoa, I think that's just a good, you know, it's a good song to look around the crowd and hear everybody singing, right? It's a good chanting song.
2 songs that they did on the tour, so they have a very good chance of coming back when they do that revisit tour.
And then one more, and then so I moved on to Seventh Son, which I really like that album, but I teeter because they do a lot of songs usually. I love Only the Good Die Young. That's a good one. And then I know they've done this song too, but my one of my favorite songs is The Evil That Men Do.
Which is kind of like a greatest hit, right? That used to be in the set list all the time.
I know. And I try not to be that basic, like Run to the Hills, the Trooper kind of girl, but I do love The Evil That Men Do.
It's a great song. I love it too.
They had a video for that song. Yeah. That album is, you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Any song on that album is great.
Agreed.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I like him. I like it.
I'm going to save my encore.
All right. So I'll blow through a bunch. I'll just name a bunch. So it gets a little long here. So I wanted to include something from the modern era, and they do have one. You know, no offense to Maiden, they do have one modern era song that I really cherish as much as the old stuff, and that's Passchendaele. So I threw that in following the Diano stuff. I had Wrathchild and Merge in the Room Org, and then Passchendaele, which is just a great epic. It's just a throwback to me of the old stuff. And then Number of the Beast, because it's just such a perfect live song. It just, especially when it kicks in with the voiceover with the whole crowd goes nuts. And then, you know, of course, when they have the devil jump around on the stage, which you know, the Iron Maidens also had the devil jump around the stage. It's just too great. Then I actually went to Somewhere in Time also, but I actually chose an odd one, I guess. But I have always really dug The Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner. I think it's a song that would translate really well live. It's just so fast, like the fast pace of it. I really love it. Then so I actually went to The Prophecy off of Seventh Son, just because it's a great song. I don't know if they've ever played it. It's such a heavy, great little groovy song.
I think that's a Dave Murray song.
I believe you're right. Yeah. And I love the outro. You know, it's kind of got that acoustic outro. That's just fantastic. All right, and then so my last 3, and then my encore. I'll just save my encore. My last 3, Caught Somewhere in Time, which again the Iron Maidens played it. Hopefully, we'll hear it from Iron Maiden on their upcoming Somewhere in Time tour.
Right.
To Tame a Land. I'm right there with you, Erica. It's just such a great song, and you got the Dune lyrics in there for all the nerds. And then finally, The Trooper, which to me I mean, The Trooper is such a high energy song. I feel like it'd be a great way to kind of go out, to the break before the encore. So The Trooper, and Bruce comes out and does the flag waving. It's too great. Even though it's one of their classic songs that they always do. It's too great to leave out.
Although I
So
left
that's
it
it.
out, I agree.
Yeah, I can't do that one again or Run to the Hills. I can't. I'm so done. Go over it. Go over it.
Never.
All right. So we're saving the last couple for the encore, right? So we'll do a few more.
Yeah, give us a couple more.
So now I'm going to go to No Prayer for the Dying, and I'm going to do the title track for something different. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of the whole album, I like the title track. I think it's pretty cool.
It is a good song.
And
there are other songs off of that album I would choose. Sorry, I'll shut up.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go
That's
ahead.
all right. What would you pick actually over No Prayer? Because I know you really hate that album.
I don't think it's their worst album, but yeah, I'm not a fan. That song is a good song. I would pick. I think Tail Gunner is a better song, a better live song. Tail Gunner. Thank you, Craig. Craig agrees with me. Craig Kaminsky agrees. Yeah, Tail Gunner. Maybe Running Silent, Running Deep. Maybe that one.
I was gonna go with that maybe too, but I went with the title track.
But yeah, I feel like it's kind of a weaker version of Hallowed Be Thy Name, but it's still not a bad. It's a good song. But so I'm not shitting on your choice. I'm down.
All right.
Go on.
I'm
I'll be
going
quiet.
to Fear of the Dark, but not the title track because I'm so over that one too. And I am going with The Fugitive and Judas Be My Guide. 2 from that album.
And they've done Judas
thoughts,
recently.
you guys, on those 2 songs?
Good picks.
Yeah, The Fugitive is decent.
I probably should have pushed it past Seventh Son, but I did a little bit, but you'll hear all about it.
All right. So I got those 2, and then I'm going back in the Village with a Flash of the Blade. How's that?
Oh yeah.
How's that segue?
That's
Back in the Village with a Flash of a Blade.
That's perfect. Who do we
So
have to
both of
talk
those
to
songs?
on there?
What's that? What, Jack?
So both of those songs then, Back in the Village and then Flash of the Blade. Is that how it closes out?
There was my lead in.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So Erika, how would they close out the night then if you were to see them live?
All right. I know I'm going to get a big lane for this. I know. So this is going to be where Rich sees the set list in advance and he decides he's going to dodge the crowd and leave before my encore. So it's going to be Tail Gunner.
All right. No, I'll stay for that.
Okay. And Fear of the Dark.
Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah. I just gave you a jump start on Traffic. Okay.
Right. I'll get the car warmed up and everybody will jump in after,
I can, for that song for me, like, although it's like played and it's probably not one of my favorites, I just like looking around and like seeing the crowd, I won't sing because I'll get hung up on, I'll get thrown out of the studio. But, I just like watching the crowd, I
do. I still enjoy that too. People really love it and they really get into it. So that is enjoyable experience to see.
Yeah. So I'm going to close out with Fear of the Dark. And then whoever wants to go get a jump on Traffic, see you later. Bye.
Well, I don't know if you saw earlier today, Erika, at MetalAsylum.net, I posted what I felt like was a good starter set list. Like if someone had never seen Maiden before, and I feel like Fear of the Dark, that has to be in a set list for someone who's never seen him before. But for those of us who've seen him a bunch, I feel like the song's a little tired. But I totally agree. It's such a great. It gets the crowd going. I think they're going to play it at every show, Rich. I mean, the super fans are just going to have to deal with it because it's just become a part of what they do.
Even when they do their somewhere in time revisit, I can't keep saying somewhere back in time, but it's somewhere in time. I bet you Fear of the Dark, Trooper, maybe Run to the Hills, Number of the Beast, those staples are still going to be probably at the tail end, aside from a couple of these deep ones we're talking about for something different,
Yeah. All right. So after they've taken a break and they come out and Bruce tells another story for 25 minutes. For me, for the encore would be, here's one where Rich would walk out, but I love Hallowed Be Thy Name. It's another one that they play every show, but it's too great to leave out. I just fell in love with that song. Well, the first time I heard it, but then on Live After Death, which was my probably the first live album I ever really loved. Just love the way he sings it there. I think Bruce still kills it every day, even though he's approaching 70. I think it's just too great of a song. So Hallowed Be Thy Name, and then I'll close this out with two from Killers. One's kind of an oddball one, but I don't care. I love it. Is Prodigal Son. I'd love to hear him,
Really?
strumming the
It's
guitars. I just love the
a
song too
chill,
much.
laid back song. You're gonna go in the encore. Interesting.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was thinking about placement, right? It would be
Yeah,
after Hallowed Be Thy Name, after the build up of Hallowed Be Thy Name, like and
yeah,
do the kind of, because I mean, and I don't know, Prodigal Son has so much energy to it. I just think it would be such an emotional powerhouse live, and
yeah.
then go from that into you got to. Seems like a perfect closing song would be Drifter. Seems like a perfect way to close out a night. It's just such an amazing album ender. I don't know why the song doesn't get enough love and attention from the Maiden world. I just love it. So that they
Very
close out the
energetic.
night with that one.
But we love it, Jack, because it's on both of our set lists.
That's true. And Craig picks
Yeah, Craig. I
Long
think we're gonna
Distance
get
Runner
something.
and Deja Vu on the upcoming tour.
Jack is not a fan of Deja Vu.
I'm not a
So
fan of Deja Vu.
if you don't get it, it's Jack's fault.
I learned a lot about you two tonight, just so you know. I feel like we hit a whole new level tonight.
That's right. All right, Rich. So how would the Maiden night end for
All
you?
right. So in my encore, I have Only the Good Die Young.
Ooh, that's a good one. Good bass in that one.
Yeah. And they've never played it live. Stranger in a Strange Land, which I love.
Yes.
Alexander the Great. I'm going with that for the epic one, the one epic song. And then closing with the song Iron Maiden. That makes sense.
I was wondering if anybody was going to bring that one up. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll leave that at the end because that is a good closer for the night, and Eddie comes out and everything. But I like those three in the encores.
Rich, they always do that one.
I was going to ask you, Jack, like, what's your opinion on Iron Maiden?
I love that song. I love that part of the night. I really do. Yeah. I just didn't put it in mind because I'd rather hear Drifter. And I was thinking about time. It absolutely belongs in any Iron Maiden set list. I mean,
that's the only one I left. That's a typical one. Everything else, I was like, I have. Not that I want it to be so different, but I just am tired of everything else. I want to hear something completely new, make it exciting for me.
But what about you, Erika? What's your take on that song?
I like it, but I feel like if I could replace it with something, I would. And you're right. It's how can Iron Maiden not do Iron Maiden, right? Close it out with that. But yeah, I mean, it's all right. It's all right.
It's tough. Anybody can make the argument for how do you leave out Hallowed Be Thy Name and The Trooper and Run to the Hills and Number the Beast and the song Iron Maiden, right?
Is that's the Iron Maiden concert starter pack, right, Jack? Those songs?
Yeah.
Even Wrathchild was even in there for the longest time, and then they finally left that out.
Well, and what's interesting that the three of us all left out 2 Minutes to Midnight. None of us said that, right? And that's a staple.
They played that forever too, so I didn't need to hear that again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you guys see Iron Maiden on this last tour? Did you go, Rich, in New Jersey or Jack?
Not the most recent run when they did the first run a couple of years ago. I saw that one.
Yeah, I missed. Go ahead, Jack. Sorry.
I did. I saw him in Arizona it was pre-COVID though. So you saw him in Florida?
You know what? I didn't because usually they kick it off in Fort Lauderdale, but I guess they were in Tampa and it was like on a Thursday night, and then I was going to fly up to New Jersey and see them in New Jersey, but I went to Nashville instead. But I'm hoping that they come back around. I mean, I would like to, there's Nico's going to retire soon. I would like to see them, just one more time, to close the books, and that. And I do get choked up. Like I'm, every time they leave and Monty Python plays, when it's time to leave, like I get choked up because walking out of there, I'm like, what if that's the last time that I see Maiden? It just, So that tour that you didn't go to, Rich, I don't know if you know the story, but we were all at PNC Bank Arts Center, and I think I bought like a single ticket because when it comes to Maiden, I used to get my nephew a ticket, but sometimes I'll just get one because I don't want to worry about anybody and I want a decent seat. So one of my friends brought me up to like 7th row, and then the crowd starts rushing the stage, and I like mixed in. There's some big dude behind me, and I looked at him, and this is at PNC. I'm like, if you're going up front, you're bringing me with you. And he like picks me up, puts me front row center, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm front row center. Like I left my purse, my keys. And I was like, you know what? I can get a new ATM card. I have a spare key at home. And I I couldn't believe it. I rocked Maiden front row center, and there's like this little dude next to me. I'm like, remember this moment because you're never gonna rock Maiden with a chick ever again. But it was all like classics. It was on that Ozfest, I think. It was like the hottest night of the year. But like, listen, it was worth it. Like that was like I was like, I could get hit by a truck tomorrow, and it made my life complete. Mm-hmm. And meeting Steve Harris.
Nice.
All right, you got to tell that story then, Erika. We can't just leave off there. We can't say, okay, good night. She met Steve Harris.
It's nothing major. So I mean, the only guys I've met, like I met Nico because he owns, the restaurant down here. So kind of, in and out of the restaurant, I've taken a couple of pictures with him. And then Steve Harris was getting off one of those cruises. And then remind me, what's the name of his British Lion was playing down at Revolution in Fort Lauderdale. And he actually signed, like he'll stand there and sign and take pictures. And I look like it's the worst picture I've ever taken, but you can't take one more Steve Harris. Like I look like a serial killer, but like my night was complete because I'm a big I love Steve Harris. I just think he's just magical in all things Maiden that he's done.
That's one of the few bands on my bucket list that I've never met. Photographed them. I met luckily by doing, reviews and music and all this stuff all these years. I've met so many people, all my heroes and everything, spoke to them, interviewed them and stuff. But Maiden's the one I never interviewed and I never met them. So hopefully on this next tour, I'll get to meet them.
Jack, any pictures with Bruce or Adrian or Dave Murray?
Yeah, Bruce and I do fencing together on the weekend. No, I've never met him.
We play some. The heck was I going to say? So let's just talk about this. I have to ask, like, what do we think of Janik? Are we going to talk about him? Like, what do you think?
What do you think? Go ahead, tell us.
I mean, it's funny because some people like either love him or hate him. I know, I don't want to say hate does it. I know, he's very, he moves up around and everything. But sometimes I feel like I could kind of do without him. But now I guess he's just a part of Maiden. He's not going anywhere, so I deal with him.
Yeah, I think it's a little too much sometimes. Sometimes it's, he has fun and everything. It's great, but yeah, sometimes he's just too much. He's moving around too much, way too much kicking and stuff like that. But I think recently in the past couple tours, though, I think he's kind of mellowed that out a little bit from what I remember when I saw him.
Here's a good question for you, Jack. Have you seen Maiden in both like New Jersey, New York, and Arizona?
Only New Jersey. I saw him at the Brendan Byrne or whatever, Continental Airlines, and out here. Yeah.
So I remember when I saw Iron Maiden at MSG, and the energy is always great at MSG. But I remember Bruce Dickinson verbatim said, New York, nobody rocks like. I might have to drop a word here. He's like, nobody rocks like you. And if I say that at another concert, you can kick my effing teeth down my throat. And, the energy at MSG, even when I saw Rush there, I suppose, the energy is always great. So I saw them down here in Florida, which was kind of cool. But it's one thing that always sticks out because I'm just curious if you think the energy is different in New Jersey as opposed to in Arizona.
That is an interesting question. I know that a lot of bands have said that. I know not metal at all. I know Bruce Springsteen has said that New Jersey versus the rest of the world and the rest of the U.S. Honestly, I've seen Overkill. New Jersey's boys. I've seen him out here, and the crowd's been crazy. So I feel like the Maiden crowd is passionate and dedicated out here, just like they were back east. So I've not really seen a
Bruce
huge
lied?
Difference between passion.
He lied?
Yeah, he said Arizona was the best. Wait a minute. Yeah. No, he didn't say that.
All right, I was just wondering. Oh, we should do an Overkill show. That was a band I was really into as a teenager.
Oh, yeah.
They're great live. They're so good live still. And their crowds are always, high energy.
I was a big Blitz fan, always.
Great stage presence.
Yep. Power snots on the side of the stage.
His rapport with the audience too, and how he just has fun with it. And yeah, he's probably my favorite thrash frontman.
Awesome. I'm glad you guys let me join today.
It was awesome.
No.
We're gonna have you back.
This has been years in the making.
Yeah, Erika, you're welcome back anytime. It's been a blast. It's been a great topic, and for those dimwits out there who say like girls don't know metal, well, there you go. Erika knows better than you. So
thank you.
So, yeah, it's been a blast. We would love to have you back anytime. So all right, well, yeah, I guess we can wrap it up there. Hang on, we got a comment. Craig Kaminsky says, Erika, love the yacht rock video you did with the captain.
That's well, thank you. It's one thing you never know with me. You never know which Erika you're gonna get. Like there's metal Erika. I still tap into her sometimes. She still comes out. Then there's my yacht rock and 80s. So I'm just well versed. You never know who's gonna show up. I love all my personalities.
So we'll do a Barry Manilow episode then next on Metal Asylum.
Awesome.
All right. Well, yeah. Thanks again, Erika. It's been great. You're definitely welcome back anytime, and we'll talk overkill. We'll talk more topics. But Rich, good talking to you, and thank you out there for Craig. You're awesome. Thank you for chiming in as always with your expertise, and JR.
Yeah, and JR. Everybody else that chimed in.
Yeah. Thank you guys for all your expertise and watching and hanging out. We'll catch you next time we do this.
All right.
Peace.
All right. Namaste. Bye.